Okay, so let's just go ahead and start off with a D scale. We'll do whole bows, so don't put any rhythms. And as you're doing this, just like it is here, we're gonna do D, E, F sharp, and as you're playing, focus on trying to use as much of your bow as possible, and intonation. So 2 things. Does that make sense? I'll play it alongside you. That's okay. So we'll do half notes. That's okay. So 1, 2, ready, go. So one thing that I've learned is one of the best ways to because you were mentioning earlier that it's often difficult to think of this hand and then do the bowing at the same time. Scales are one of the best ways to get that solidified. So practicing scales, especially this D scale, and you can put it to a metronome, and then just working on getting the coordination of putting your finger down and then changing the bow and then that whole coordination. That's really good to work on. So we're going to do it all again. We're just going to do it one more time. And I want you to do the same thing, but this time, one thing that I was noticing is that your bow sometimes goes, I wish I had a mirror in here, it's down there, but it goes a little bit crooked sometimes. So when you're pulling, you want to extend from your, right here, this kind of stays still, and you want it to be a hinge from your elbow. And then think of this as a highway, and you want to be right in the middle, even though we don't usually drive in the middle of the highway. Just for this analogy, try to drive in the middle of the highway. So we're going to do that same thing. And so bend from your elbow and your bow arm, and then drive in the middle of the highway. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Noticing is that your bow was a lot straighter that time. That's great. That's going to help you get a better tone. Let's go ahead and try this. One of my favorite things to do as I'm warming up, one of the best ways to warm up, is just by doing long bows. And as you're doing that, think about maybe the way that you can change your body movement, maybe add more weight on the bow, less weight on the bow, to get a smoother tone. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So good. So let's just go ahead and do open bows. We'll just do long bows on. I'll come back. Long bows on the 8th string. Good job. Way to start right there down at the front. Okay. Okay, so roll 1 string over down to the A. So lift up your
yeah.
There you go. Okay, let's do that again. And then we're going to go down and up a couple times. Maybe if we change your bow hand a little bit, that might help. Okay. But also I want to let you know, those crunchy sounds are not bad. That means that you're gripping the string, and as you get a little bit more comfortable holding the bow, then you'll be able to figure out how. So don't be discouraged by that. It literally happens to everybody. It's a hard sound. I know, especially when it's right up next to your face. It doesn't sound as bad from over here. I hope you know that.
That's good.
I've experienced this as well. So we're just gonna work with your bow really quick. So you can sit your right line up here. It's on my bow. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take your bow, and one thing that is really, really helpful in your bow hand is to have a nice and relaxed bow hand. That's the way that we get the best tone, and that's the way that we can really like relax on the bow the best, and then we just kind of ease into the strings. So the way that I'm going to have you do this is I want you to take your hand and just kind of shake it out. Great. Nice. It's like you're waving at the ground. That's perfect. So we want it to be like a rag doll. Just nice and floppy, kind of like a bunny rabbit. Oh, I forgot about that analogy. Oh, my teacher used to use that one. Okay, I'll use it. Yeah, this is my favorite. I love analogies. So your hand is just going to be nice and loose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bow and I'm going to put it up, and you're just going to kind of weight your hand on this stick. It can hold a lot of weight. Like I'm putting like my whole arm's weight on this stick right now. So I'm going to take your arm and then give it, there you go, way to go. Just give it to me to control. So I want you to completely relax your arm in my hand. Nice. That's good. That's what we like to feel. So what I'm going to do, nice, way to go, is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to flop your fingers on it. But, there we go. But I can still feel that you're holding a little bit of weight. Yeah, just go ahead and just stick it on that stick. Stick it on the stick. Nice. So you want to feel good, a good amount of weight. How does that feel? Good. Does that feel like you're kind of pressing in on the stick?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay. Okay, so give me your hand again. Nice floppy. Keep it floppy. Keep it floppy. Don't grab for that stick. Just look right at me, okay? Great. Actually, don't look at me. Look at something on the wall.
Look up.
There you go. So just keep your hand nice and floppy. And I'm just going to put it on this stick. Don't make a bow hand, just nice. That's a good amount of weight. Now you can look. That's a good amount of weight that we want on the stick of the bow. So I want you to just relax your hand on the stick. Good. That's really, really good. So that's the type of weight that we want to feel on our bow stick when we're playing. It's coming from up here in your shoulder, and it's going all the way down to here. Okay. So that's good. That's what we want. I'm going to adjust your bow hand just a little bit. And I'm going to form your bow hand for you. Okay. The first thing that we are going to form are the ears of the bunny rabbit. See how that's in here? Mm-hmm. Nice. So you're going to want your pinky to be nice and rounded, and on this second curvature right there, it just kind of nestles into the bow. These are going to be the two teeth. Okay. They're like the buck teeth of the bunny rabbit. So you have a pinky, which is like an ear. You have the two buck teeth, and you're going to want to relax on the I'm sorry about my hands, I've been climbing. You're going to want to relax onto the stick right in the middle of that knuckle. Okay, does that make sense? Cool. So we're going to move you back just a little bit, and that's a good place to have those fingers. Scoot your hands back just a little bit. This is kind of the underside of the teeth, and it's going to be bent and right up in there. Nice. So let's go ahead and make that bent. Perfect. I love it. And then this is just going to relax on the top of the stick. It's going to be a little bit curved, but right now that feels like a hook. So just, there you go. Just go ahead and relax it and just lay it on the stick. Now I'm going to take away my hand, and you're going to be holding the stick, okay? The bow. That's what I mean by the stick. Okay. It may feel a little bit awkward, but now we're going to take it away. Take it away. There you go. I'm going to have you do that yourself. Okay. Okay. So you just kind of put it there on the stick and form your bow hand. Nice. Way to go. Nice and bent. If possible, you're going to have these two fingers touching. There you go. This is where most of your stability of the bow and the pressure on the strings comes from. These two fingers. And this one, this is kind of like leaning a little bit forward. Try to just lean it lightly. It's going to be like in the middle of those two knuckles. How does that feel? Okay. A little different, a little interesting? Yeah. Cool. So you're going to try to have this one be nice and rounded. There you go. And I'm going to explain to you the purpose. The bow hand is one of the most critical parts of playing violin. Mm-hmm. This is what I believe. And this Armenian teacher that I once took from her name was Shake Gukashian. That's what she believed in. She would yell at me about it. But the pinky and the bow is going to be utilized the most when you're up near the frog. So you're going to feel, this is really in detail, but you're going to feel a transfer of weight. When you're up here with the frog, you're going to feel a lot of weight on the pinky because that's where you're balancing your bow. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then when you go all the way down to the end, naturally your hand is going to pronate a little bit, and you will press down on this finger. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. So one thing that is really good for us to practice is what is called pinky push-ups. Pinky push-ups. And then I have another bow exercise for us to do as well. But this is something that my teacher had me do when I was young. You hold the bow like this, just with a normal bow hand, and you're going to kind of lift up this finger because he should be like light enough that he's like a free floater. Oh, it's Hannah. Just
like an hour ago.
And then, because it's nice and curved right here, you're going to push up and you're going to put it back down. And you do that just with moving the pinky. It feels super strange. And one thing that you really have to get down is that, especially this basis part of the bow hold. Hope it's still going. It is. We're good. Okay. Is this making sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's go ahead and see a couple pinky push-ups. Nice. That's good. I'm seeing a lot. Mm-hmm, a lot of that is coming from your pinky, that's exactly what we want. That's good. Okay. Another thing. I want you to just go ahead and make your bow. Hold. Beautiful. These two fingers are very close together. This one's nice and bent. This one's just laying on the bow, and you have a bent thumb. I want you to turn over your bow so we can see underneath. Nice. Good job. One thing that's totally okay is for this thumb, the bent one underneath, to be touching this finger. They're going to be buddies. They kind of kiss under there, you know. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just give each other high fives. Let's say that. They give each other high fives. But they're going to be, this is one of the most integral parts of your bow. So make sure that is nice and solid. And then I want you to make a rabbit for me. You can hold your bow. That's okay. There you go. So you're gonna, that's great. How does that feel? Okay. A little bit interesting?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and make that a nice rounded pinky. And then just lay your finger. Yeah. One thing I'm going to have you do, you're kind of a little bit far down on the stick. I want you to pull up. There we go. That's beautiful. That's great. And then you still want that thumb nice and bent into there, which you have. Great. Wow. Okay. So now we're going to use this bow hold, and we're going to do a couple whole bows.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes, okay? Cool. And I just want you to know, everybody squeaks. This is a good thing. This is part of learning the violin. So, go ahead and feel a nice, flexible, hopefully, bow hand. And kind of go not as close to the bridge, a little bit closer to the fingerboard. There you go. And then let's go ahead and just make a long bow. One long bow down. There you go. That was beautiful. Now we're going to go right back up again. Oops. You got it. Alrighty, that's good. That's so good. That was really, really good. When you're coming up to the frog, one thing I want you to think about is instead of pressing down on the bow, maybe with this finger, and to give a little bit less weight as you're coming up. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Kind of lighten the load on the strings. So let's go down again. Okay. Beautiful. And then we're going to come right back up again. Yay! That was so good! Good job! Okay, so we'll do that one more time, and then I want us to play a song, Pit Sing, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be really fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to go down again. We're going to come right back up. Beautiful. Wow. How does that feel?
Good.
Yeah? Okay, it's always a little bit interesting when you start off, but one thing that's really important is getting really comfortable with this bow hand so you can like move up and down the bow. Like this is a really good exercise. You have to keep your whole hand in the same area, and then you have to go down, and then you have to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you could do. It just helps with flexibility of the bow. So this is the most integral part of learning the violin.
Mm-hmm.
You can do whatever over here, but this is so important. So,
Mm-hmm.
But you are doing a wonderful job. It sounds great. I'm so impressed. Okay, put your bows down. Bows down. We are going to play a clair de lune. So how about you go ahead and play it for me, and then we'll go from there. That was beautiful. Good job. Okay, now I'm going to do it alongside you.
Okay.
And we'll do it together. And then we're going to do it one more time, and I'll play a harmony off of you. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let's switch sides so I can follow you.
Okay. Count or
Yeah, sure.
Or, I don't know.
Yeah, just go ahead and count.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Woohoo! Except for the last couple notes. Alright, so now we're going to take our bows, and we're going to play with our bows. How's that sound? Okay. So just keep in mind what we've been thinking about with the bow hand. And also, like, accept the squeaks. Accept, like, the harsh noises. That's just what happens. The more time that you spend with the instrument, the more time that won't happen. So, as you know, practice is everything, unfortunately.
Yes.
Not really unfortunately, but okay. Whenever you're ready. And maybe go down just in the middle of your bow, because we're just going to make short bows. But, there we go.
Okay. I just let it coming off.
Okay, you can. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. 2, 3, 4. Great, good work. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to work a little bit on the intonation. Because I noticed that you don't have any, what's it called, tapes? I played with tapes for so long, so you are doing an incredible job without the tapes, especially starting off like that. And you're very, very close to the intonation. This time, we are going to play the pitch and we're going to match pitches. So I want you to listen to what pitch you're making and then what pitch I'm making, and then change your finger according to what you hear. So if you need, does that make sense? Like if you need to like slide it way up, do that. If you need to go all the way back, do that. Like, and then just like, I don't care like if it's a huge like until you like find it, but do whatever you need to. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're just gonna go slowly. We'll take it one note at a time. But this first one's gonna be really, really easy. Okay, ready? Go. You got it. There you go. Nice. Now let's see this next one. Nice. Yeah. Perfect. There you go. Okay, so now let's go back down again. and you're doing a great job. Okay. There we go. I have a better idea. Let's try this. Here, give me this really quick. I'm going to be your bow.
Okay.
And you're going to listen for this pitch because I know that you know music.
Yes.
So, we're going to start from the beginning. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Back a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then first finger. I think it was got a little bit sharp.
Yeah.
Let's try that one more time.
Okay.
There we go. Woo! Hannah and Emily extraordinaire! Way to go! Okay, now we're going to do this one more time. This will be the last time. We're just going to mix together. Ready? And then you count off this time. I'll follow you.
Okay. 1, 2.
That was beautiful. Yay! Good job, Hannah. Sweet.
Yes.
I know.